Good morning, Yankees universe. It is Thursday, September 11th. If you guys can, thoughts and prayers for everybody we've lost on September 11th years ago back in 2001. And now let's talk about Los Yankees because Los Yankees lost.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Yes, indeed. Good morning, Yankee fans. Like I said, this is Thursday, September 11th. You are tuned in to the Yankees Morning Brew. I'm your guy, Hector, joined by my co host this morning. We got the lovely Grace Monroe sipping on a nice tea. And I got my guy, the fly guy, the Ace Avenue. And all you Yankee fans, wake up and get your coffee.
It's a
Fellas,
coffee.
the coffee.
It's
The
a coffee.
Coffee today, August the other day. Grace is really coming around. You gotta say the hot dog.
Hot dog.
Hot dog? No, I can't. I'll never get to that level, Ace. But hey, you love me anyway. I bring the Southern flair to Yankees Morning Brew. So, how are you feeling?
Great, glad to be here. Happy Thursday to you guys. One day from the weekend. Let's go.
One day from the weekend, and Delulu Yankee fan is starting it off nice. The World Series is back off, y'all. Absolutely, we got destroyed these last two games, in the Bronx against the Detroit Tigers. And Grace, the moment Gleyber Torres had that hit with the bases loaded, I thought of you. I said, "Oh, he got that hit for Grace Monroe."
Wasn't that so nice of him to think of me? Um, I noticed that he reposted a post from the Yankees thanking him for his time or something, but he turned the comments off. And I was like, Gleyber, I see you. You know, you know what the comments would have been, but no, but Gleyber spent a lot of time in New York and had some ups and downs. Obviously, didn't go the way that he or we all wanted it to go in the end. And I think it was time for Gleyber and the Yankees to part ways. And I was very clear that I wanted him to have a wonderful career, but not in New York. I think that that relationship had run its course, and now he's found a place where he's been playing well. He seems to have a lot of good friendships in the dugout, in the locker room over there with the Detroit Tigers. I'm happy for him. I don't wish the man ill. He's a super nice guy. But I wanted the Yankees to move on from him. I still think that was the right decision. But no ill will to Gleyber personally.
Maybe we could maybe Glaber's trying to just make sure things are good, copacetic. Maybe he'll come back next year, play shortstop for us. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know because the current shortstop for the New York Yankees has been struggling. We'll get into that conversation when it comes to Anthony Volpe. But I want to shout out the chat before we continue, before we jump into the conversations. I want to do a better job shouting out this community, one of the best communities that are out there on YouTube. Shout out to my guy Jacob Petruzzi, one of the top moderators in all of the interwebs. Shout out to my guy Jacob Petruzzi, my man TC Stills, my brother. TC Stills in the building. TC, how you doing? The sis Tina's in the building. Tina, I hope all is well. Tina, another one of the dope moderators that we have in the Yankees universe. The work that she does on this channel, the work that she does in the Yankees Discord. Tina, I appreciate you. Shout out to you. I got to shout out my lovely girlfriend, Alex Campos, who's in the building. One day from the weekend, absolutely. Mi hermano Ghost de la Isla is here. John the Beagle Dad is in the building. Mr. Beagle Dad. Jonathan is in the building. Theo Nosebleed Section is in the building. How are you doing? Yankees lost 2-0. The first two games of the series. We was having a conversation about how this stretch of games was supposed to be the make and break for the Yankee season. Before we jump fully into the Yankees Discord for the past 2 days, Jacob Petruzzi has something that popped up. I got the tweet and I on my phone. This is from Brian Hoach. Anthony Volpe had a PRP injection. Anthony Volpe had a PRP injection. Grace, what did you say on Tuesday's show? What did you?
I knew it. What did Einstein say? Like, Eureka! I knew it. I knew it. I mean, damn, it's hard to be right.
Yeah, when you right, when you good, Grace. When you
No,
right,
I'm
you are
joking.
right.
I'm not right all the time. But I knew something had to be going on. Like I said on the show on Tuesday, most of his errors this year have been throwing errors. And that is so interesting. And I said it either had to be an injury or just a plain yips. Well, every report coming from Boone and coming from his teammates and coming from everywhere that we can have a reliable source from the locker room says that Anthony Volpe hasn't locked down mentally, that he doesn't let it get to him as much as you can as a professional athlete. So that indicates to me that something's going on with that shoulder when he made that horrible fall earlier in the year.
And according to Brian Hogan, I'll toss it over to my guy Ace as well, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Ace Avenue as well. The link to his channel is in the description of this video. But Brian Hogan, Anthony Volpe has received a cortisone injection in his shoulder. Aaron Boone was asked about Volpe's shoulder yesterday and called him a very tough kid and a gamer, adding he doesn't believe the shoulder has impacted Volpe's play. I don't think so, but I guess I shouldn't rule it out. So we finally got an explanation when it comes to Sir Anthony Volpe. Ace, what's your thoughts, bro?
It's tough because like it's one of those things where, yeah, no doubt you're a gamer, you want to play, but sometimes the medical staff has to save these players from themselves because like if you're out there at the detriment of the team, sometimes you got to go out there and we didn't really have any other options. But I mean, the kid was playing well up until that point. We all saw it on live when it went down. We saw Aaron Judge sprint from the outfield, come in. You don't just react like that if it's not anything serious. And then to be in the lineup the very next day was kind of like, okay, maybe it's not anything. Maybe they should have gave him some time. But the kid went down and it was adamant he was in a lot of pain. Like Aaron Judge was even looking over, like I said, was concerned. But it's just one of those things where we don't know if it's really impacting his play. They're trying to say it's not. Is this a built-in excuse for him? Is this legit? I just feel like we're never going to know. But to get the cortisone shot definitely is something that you have to question. Like I said, it's no coincidence that he was playing well to start the season, even though he's a very streaky player. And then he just happens to like fall off a cliff after that incident. So we'll see.
Yeah, and yesterday, right, when I hit the field yesterday at 3:00, I knew in my head, I'm like, oh, Volpe's not, because they came out with the lineup very late. I don't think the lineup was released till about like right before 5:00, if not after 5:00. So when I got there, the lineup wasn't out. Normally, when I walk into the press box, they have the lineup card like right ahead of me. It's being written in around that time. Especially for the Yankees, I didn't see it. When I got onto the field, I see Caballero in the same spot that I always tell you guys. I see Volpe and Jazz working on their infield drills before the game starts, before BP. That's what Caballero was. Anthony Volpe was not in sight. Anthony Volpe was taking he was doing BP with James Rosen yesterday, and it was just T work, breaking it down. He wasn't even a part of any of the the batting practice groups that were there. Like he was hanging with them, but he really wasn't a part of it. So in my head, I had Volpe not being in the lineup in yesterday's game before the lineup was even out. But what this signals to me, and the Lulu Yankee fan just hit it right on the head. We're gonna get another year Anthony Volpe, y'all. This is laying down the groundwork for us to have another season of Anthony Volpe, because the Yankees will point to that injury. It's going to come out that he's going to have to get surgery. It's going to be a thing that's going to be there, and that's going to be the reason why Anthony Volpe will be the shortstop for the New York Yankees next year.
I just want to say, I'm not a doctor, but a cortisone injection is not a PRP injection. They're very different things. The PRP therapy, platelet-rich plasma, whatever therapy, where they take your blood and they spin it around and they inject it back in to help you heal, requires more recovery time, and it's like more invasive. Cortisone shot is just like a normal-ish thing that players go through. Doesn't have any real downtime that I'm aware of after that. It's just a steroid injection that's totally legal through medical care to help your shoulder heal quicker and bounce back and numb the pain to some degree. So let's be clear about that. A PRP injection is different than what he had.
Yeah, a PRP injection, like Grace was saying, is a platelet-rich plasma injection, which basically it takes your blood. They put it in this machine. They spin it real fast to enrich the plasma, and you get it back into the area that was injured. And when you look at the cortisone shot is basically, imagine you had a syringe that is full with, like, if you had a headache and you needed a cortisone shot for your headache, imagine a syringe with Tylenol or headache medicine just being pumped directly into your brain. That's what a PRP, that's what a cortisone shot is. It's the medicine that you need to recover being shot into the area of pain. So it's two different things. So to understand, if it's a PRP injection, okay, recovery. Cortisone shot is more of like, he may have to get surgery for that, because they're just pumping in the medicine just to numb the pain. This is just a cortisone shot is used just to treat it, not to fully heal it. Somebody that used to have that back in the day was Jason Giambi. Y'all remember when Jason Giambi, that man was getting cortisone shots like every 2 weeks when he was playing with the New York Yankees.
Yeah, they do it all the time in football.
Yeah. Ace, what's your thoughts, bro?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I just wish that this was done.
I'm like, why Ace not talking to us?
froze like this. Like, nah, I just wish that this was done earlier. Like this, like you could have knocked, especially we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Either this was done earlier. If this was something that the kid was really dealing with, then preparation should have been made. Contingency plan should have been made earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish him the best, no doubt. Like, I'm an Anthony Volpe supporter. I've been this year, I've been on the record. I'm like, yo, I think this kid's gonna have a good year. I am eating it this year because unfortunately he's not. Could this be the reason that he is? I mean, we'll never know. At the end of the day, I hope that this is the case, so that way we can at least have some optimism. But when it comes to Anthony Volpe next year, he's definitely coming back. I have no disillusions that he wasn't going to be here. They'll give him something to arbitration as like a proven year, because who else do you have?
I don't know why the screen just did that. That was weird. What I was going to say, when it comes to Anthony Volpe, I'm right there with you, Ace. Right? Because if Anthony Volpe has the year that we thought Anthony Volpe could have, that means that there's success for the New York Yankees. The fact that Anthony Volpe has, quote unquote, now this injury that is coming out, it's going to be an excuse for this season. It's going to be an excuse for all the errors. It's going to be an excuse for the poor play, which I understand. But like you said, Ace, I hate that the Yankees are going to come out with this on September 11th. This should have been a conversation in June. This should have been a conversation when the injury happened. Don't play him the next day. Let him sit for some time. But they let him play through it. Aaron Boone called him a gamer. Aaron Boone said he's tough. And if he was injured, battling, and he played this season battling through an injury, having to deal with the injury, having to deal with the fans, you got to give the kid some type of credit when it comes to his mental tough game. Some type of credit. If he was dealing with the injuries on top of the outside noise from the fans.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this, Grace. When I was on the field yesterday presenting the award, like right before the game started, right before the first pitch, it was like full. It was almost full. And I always wondered, do the players, can they hear what the fans are saying? Like in that first row, my friend Caleb was there shouting out, like, "Hey, Latino Sports." I heard him. So if I can hear Caleb from the concourse at Yankee Stadium, Anthony Volpe can hear the fans from the second deck and from the third deck talking shit about him.
Of course they can hear the fans, and it weighs on everybody. He's just a person, and to know that he grew up a Yankees fan and that this was his all-time dream to play shortstop for the New York Yankees, he cares. His heart is in it, and I'm sure he's tougher than we give him credit for mentally, but it weighs on it. It's going to get to everyone at some point. But let me ask you this. As an from an organizational standpoint, would you take Anthony Volpe's defense last year and then him hitting 220 with 22 home runs in the bottom of the order for basically free, over signing a shortstop in the offseason like Bo Bichette and possibly changing your offseason plans regarding outfield holes you got to fill, pitching holes you got to fill, all this stuff? And the answer is, of course. And that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. We're going to see Anthony Volpe and Jose Caballero fighting it out in spring. We're going to have a conversation about George Lombard Jr., which we ultimately probably going to decide he's not ready yet. But they're waiting for George Lombard Jr. We're in another shortstop holding pattern, which I feel like we've been in recently and before, and we're in another one now, and we already know that that's what they're going to do. So
yeah. Well, if they didn't bring back Volpe next year, right? Like, because he's in arbitration, Caballero goes to shortstop. Also, got to take in consideration the boy Waldo's coming back next year, which is great. So that's that utility guy that you can have off the bench as well. Maybe they do that because Caballero's on a contract for a little while for us. So he's played good enough shortstop to warrant a conversation. Like, look at Aaron Boone's reaction yesterday. Uptown Sports posted it. I did see that that Boone would look like he was enamored over a play that Caballero made. And I like to see it, and no doubt it instills confidence. But my first reaction to that was, don't do that, Boone, if you're just going to sit Caballero tomorrow for Anthony Volpe. Don't be over the top and have the cameras on you, because I couldn't be the only one that noticed this. They were honing in on Jose Caballero pregame a lot yesterday. Like, as they were warming up, you had the entire cameras on him, and then going to Boone's reaction. They didn't show Volpe at all, and then he makes his play, and Aaron Boone's like, wow. Like the little, like, mind blown. Like, but don't do that if you're just going to sit him tomorrow.
They want homegrown stars. That's where the money is. Look at Aaron Judge. Look at Derek Jeter. I mean, obviously, those are the two captains, and that's like kind of those are obvious examples. But Anthony Volpe was a homegrown Yankee guy, New Jersey guy, grew up with the whole spiel. We all know it, right? He came up through the Yankee system, having those basically free years, capitalizing off jersey sales, capitalizing off his little marketable face. And then the whole thing, that's what they want. They wanted Anthony Volpe to pan out like Aaron Judge panned out and to be the next star of the Yankees. And this has thrown a wrench in their plans.
I want to highlight this comment from Tim Inglis, and I'll throw it over to you, Ace. Tim, shout out to Tim as well. I've been saying it for 2 years now. Volpe doesn't need to be a 330 on base percentage guy or still 100 bags. A perfect comp for Volpe is Dalton Varsho. Give me Gold Glove defense, a 725 OPS, and you're good. Tim, right there, I think that's the comment. If not the comment of the season, it's definitely the comment of the year right now. I think you hit it right on the head with that one. Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah, I think Volpe needs to be a table setter. We don't have enough of those on this team. Volpe seems to go up there trying to do what every Yankee's doing, hitting the ball out of the ballpark. All of our runs versus this in this Tiger series have been via the home run. We don't need those guys. Jazz has pop. We don't need you to go up there and swing for the fences every single time. You can clearly see that Jazz is honing in on that 30-30. Like, he's adamantly trying to hit that. But we need table setters, especially at the bottom of the order. If you're able to get on base, if Volpe's a guy that can play solid Gold Glove defense, got a Gold Glove his first year. If, like Grace was saying, if he can anywhere between 220 to 240 at the bottom of the order, get on base, the runs are scored up there because you're setting yourself up for the home run guys. I'll take a guy like that for the next 10 years. Like a guy that could just hold down the fort every single year. But unfortunately, it just seems like he's up there trying to swing for the fences. He needs to change his approach more. Go to right field more. You know what I'm saying? Close off your stance a little more. Go to right. Get on base. Use that speed, because guys like him and Jazz and Dominguez, you have a tool that a lot of other players don't have, which is pure athleticism. So you have to use it.
Yeah, no, I think when you look at it, right, and it's hard because I get it. Anthony Volpe, there was a lot of Derek Jeter because he's a New Jersey kid. After Jeter, we had Didi, and after Didi, we've had a rotating chair of musical chairs trying to figure out who's going to be the shortstop for the New York Yankees. And it's hard to replace a legend, right? Regardless of what sport it is, regardless if it's the NBA, the NFL, MLB, it's hard to replace a legend. If you're coming into a situation, when you look at the historic franchise like the New York Yankees, coming in to be Derek Jeter replacement, that's hard. It's hard to go to the New England Patriots and be the replacement for Tom Brady. That's hard. It's hard to get drafted to the Chicago Bulls and be the replacement for Michael Jordan. That's hard to do that. When you look at the New York Yankees, after Lou Gehrig passed away, rest in peace, the Yankees had a revolving door of first basemen until we got Joe Pepitone in the 60s. And then we got Chris Chambers, Mickey Mantle towards the end of his career, but then we got Chris Chambers, Bob Watson, and Don Mattingly. So from 1940, The Yankees had subpar players play first base up into the 1960s. That's 20 years of not having a franchise or an everyday cornerstone first baseman. And when you look at the shortstop position for the New York Yankees, we're kind of falling into that trend, trying to find that replacement for Derek Jeter.
Third base too. I'd say third base since A-Rod too.
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head too, bro.
Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why the Yankees don't want to let go of that dream is they saw all those dollar signs, bro. They saw the dollar signs with Anthony Volpe's little smile and his little face and his little parents and his kid, a picture of him as a kid with Derek Jeter. He got a Gold Glove his rookie year. He hit a grand slam in the World Series, and his jersey sales are one of the top on the team. Why? He resonates with the young demographic. Yankees are dying to reel in that young demographic. All they see with Anthony Volpe as the future shortstop is dollar signs. This season has seriously called into question those dollar signs, and they're not happy about it. They're not ready to let go of that dream. The dream is money. Okay, the dream is not winning the World Series. The dream is money for the front office. Okay, we, the fans, we're out here saying this is clear as day. You got to play Jose Caballero. Why aren't you playing Jose Caballero? It's the dollar signs. That's why, in my opinion. And furthermore, I want to say to Ace's point, I agree. If he gives us that level of production that was mentioned in the comment, 7 something OPS, whatever, I think that that's fine and serviceable as long as the glove is there. But here's the caveat. It's got to be in the bottom of the order. I don't want to see Anthony Volpe in the 5-hole, the 6-hole, the 7-hole bullshit. It's got to be in the bottom of the order, and then it's fine.
Shout out to Marshall Brown in the chat that says that hat is fire, Ace. I was gonna say something, you know.
It's my favorite color. Appreciate you.
Purple's my favorite color too.
Nice.
I want to shout out
Grace. What about you? Favorite color?
Red is the best color.
That's crazy. That's my mom's favorite color, and that's why
red is my favorite color. Every shade of red, I love it.
Copy. Shout out to my man Fritz Walter in the building who says, "Hey everybody, how are you doing, Fritz?" Now I want to take a pause in the Yankee conversation because Grace, you sent a video to me that I want to bring up to play real quick of Matt Blake. Because Matt in the chat, Marco C. Shout out to Marco C in the chat. How about giving Matt Blake some good pitches? It seems every time they give him worse pitches to turn around. I 100% agree with you. I'm going to put a pause on that real quick. Just to let everybody know, yesterday, and I sent this video to Grace and Ace. Yesterday, your boy Hector Beauchamp and Latino Sports, we presented Luis Hill with the 2024 Latino MVP Award at Yankee Stadium on the field. It was a dope ceremony. The Yankees showed us so much love. They shouted us out on their social media. And yesterday as well was Hispanic Media Day at Yankee Stadium as well. Another great day yesterday when it comes to like Hispanic media, Latino media representation. It was dope. I had a bunch of interviews, but we had a special one-on-one moment with Brian Cashman, Latino Sports, Julio Pavon, because Brian Cashman, when it comes to Latino media representation, he helped Latino Sports out in the background. So I have that interview. It's about a 2 to 3 minute video that I want to play for you. TC Stills, I know you are the president of the Brian Cashman fan club. So when I was in Brian Cashman's office yesterday, first off, I called him. I said, nice to meet you, Mr. Cashman. And he was like, please, my name's Brian. Please call me Brian. So me and Brian on a first name basis. That's my home. That's my BFF. So I'm going to play the video for y'all, and we're going to watch this video, and then we will come back to it. Let me just set it up. Bingo, here it is.
Because this is history. Osbert, 35 years ago, just about, right? A little bit more than that afterwards. But there was a press conference here at Yankee Stadium, and it was a zoo. Everybody in the world was here because Alex Rodriguez. They went to ask questions, and the third question was from one of the Spanish reporters from Telemundo or Univision. And Rick Cerrone got up and said, I'm sorry, but unfortunately, we won't be taking any questions in Spanish. I live in the community. I was here. I wasn't that much into the press. Just wanted to get some free lunch. But I saw that the Latinos were here. They were upset, majority Dominican. So I went up to them and I said, listen, if you guys are upset, why don't you guys have a meeting and talk to the management? And they all went their ways. So I decided to organize it. And we started a group called the Latino Sports Writers and Broadcast Association. And the first thing was that they got me, because I learned in this community that if you have an idea, you wind up doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So I learned to shut up now. So they said, Julio, why don't you write a letter? So I wrote a letter, and I wrote it to you, and telling you about what happened and how it made us feel uncomfortable that they said no questions in Spanish. And then I forgot about it. Then about 2 weeks later, I get a phone call in my office, and you call me directly. And you say, hi, this is Brian Cashman, Julio Pavon around. I said, Brian Cashman calling me? I said, who's this? You say, I'm Brian Cashman. And I said, well, how come it's not your secretary calling me? He says, well, I'm calling you. You're answering your own phone. And I said, hi. And I said, what is this? And you told me, I got your letter. I'll never forget this. And you said, and I felt the same way.
Yeah.
And I thought, there goes this Anglo guy, head of the Yankees, and he felt the same way I felt. And I said, wow. And you said, would you like to meet and talk about it? Make a long story short, we met, and the first thing you did was you called up Rick Cerrone, and that led to the fact that we needed more Latinos here, and you opened the door. And thank you for that, Brian.
You got it, my friend. Well, again, there was a powerful moment. There was certainly some uncomfortableness that I felt, but then your letter, reflected that uncomfortableness in a really professional way too. But it resonated, and then from like anything else, you start having conversations. How can we do better? How can this be better? How can we find higher ground? And you, Latino Sports, have helped a great deal find higher ground and put a community in a much better place than it had been prior. And so thank you for writing that letter. and obviously, hopefully we're in a much better place now.
And congratulations to the Yankees. What we saw downstairs from what was here 30-something years ago to what we saw downstairs. Wishing you the best of luck. I know you have your hands full, those meetings, postseason. I know you're thinking about it, so we wishing you the best. We're out here for you, supporting you, no matter what.
Appreciate
You're
you.
one of the best, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man. All right.
So shout out to Brian Cashman for that special moment. And then this was the moment that I was talking about with Julio Pavon presenting the award to Luis Hill on the field. Now, the thing when it comes to the awards that we give, these baseball players, they get plaques, they get trophies all the time. The portraits that are done, they're one-of-one authentic pieces that is done by a world-class artist. One is a painter and another one is a digital graphic designer. The pieces that they put out, the painter specifically, he has paintings that are appraised for like $11,000, $12,000, $13,000. So these pieces are one-on-one. Albert Pujols has them in his trophy case. David Ortiz loved them as well. Luis Hill, when he saw it, he said, "This would be perfect when I bring it to my mom's house." And then afterwards, he's like, "Nah, I'm bringing it to my house as well." So again, just want to share this moment with you guys. It was awesome to be on the field. Latino Sports was representing when it comes to Latino media, Latino representation for the athletes in Major League Baseball and outside of Major League Baseball, because we are in the NFL, NBA, and all other major sports that are out there. So I'm done with my TED Talk. We could come back to the New York Yankees.
That painting is fire too, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
it
this
is.
heat.
That's really awesome.
Thank you.
That's really awesome, Hector. Congratulations. You are making moves. You're so amazing. And Ace and I are happy to be along for the ride. But it was
hold
funny.
on, there's one more I want to show you real quick. Hold on, because I forgot to send this to you. So this was in the press conference room, and hear me right here. Look at my big ass smile. Right there.
Nice.
Go ahead, Grace. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, Ace and I were joking in the group chat. I'm like, lean over to Brian's cell phone and say, "Resign Cody Bellinger," so that the algorithm picks it up. And we were acting fools. Hector's like doing real work and real job shit, and we're like, say something in his cell.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? This is something I forgot to tell you guys too, because Ricky Ricardo threw out the first pitch, right? The Yankees Spanish board, both of them threw out the first pitch, Ricky and his partner. When Ricky was warming up, you know who was warming him up?
Who? You?
I was on the field doing catch with Ricky Ricardo, warming him up before he went out for his first pitch.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I might need you out there, Heck.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have a glove. I saw Ricky, and me, I've always show a lot of respect for Ricky. Huge fan of him. And I saw Ricky warming up. It was him and his partner, but there was only one bat boy there. So I was like, yo, Ricky, can I get in on this? He was like, you got a glove? I was like, I don't need no fucking glove. He was like, all right, go ahead, go out there. He was like, go back. He was like, because I'm gonna throw it to you, and it's gonna be hard. I was like, all right, cool, copy. He threw it, and my hand was red for like the rest of the game, but it was still a good time.
It's playing like it's the old
awesome.
stickball days, no glove, the old stickball days.
Yeah, facts. But going back to the New York Yankees, the video that I want to bring up, and Grace, I'll let you lead the conversation when it comes to this, because the title of the show today is Matt Blake out of magic? And that's because of Grace Monroe. So I'm gonna play the video, and then we'll get back to it. Grace, you can lead the conversation before we wrap it up. Hold on. Why is it not playing?
Well, while Hector's bringing that up, I just wanted to say I'm not saying Matt Blake is out of magic, but I thought this was a conversation worth having because the bullpen has been so absolutely atrocious lately, giving up 19 runs in this series alone, and the series isn't even over yet. We've only played 2 games, y'all. 19 runs the bullpen has allowed in the last 2 games. So tonight we got Cam Schlittler on the mound. And as we know, his last start, he did not go very deep into the game. He got pulled super early. The Blue Jays worked his pitch count up, and he couldn't put away the batters even when he got into a favorable count. And so tonight we're going to hopefully see some adjustments. So here's a video real quick of Matt Blake talking about Cam Schlittler.
This is a tough lineup. They don't have a lot of swing and miss in the across their lineup, and I thought they did a good job fighting him off. I thought he did get some swing and miss early in counts. Just when he got to 2 strikes, they spoiled a lot of pitches, and he just wasn't able to either get him to put it in play out of defender, or he just couldn't get the swing and miss that we were looking for.
This is really the first time that he's going to have to overcome some adversity in his big league career. How do you think he's going to respond, and what adjustments would you like to see him make?
Yeah, he seems equipped to handle it. I mean, obviously, we'll debrief later today on it and see where he's at mentally, and get back to work on some 2-strike put away sequences, things like that. But I think he'll be fine. It's obviously at some point you're gonna have adversity in the big leagues, and it's one of the best lineups in the league. So if it was gonna come, it was gonna come last night. So
seeing what they did last night, knowing what this lineup can do, how does Luis Heel make sure he doesn't suffer the same fate this afternoon?
Yeah, I think there's a level of unpredictability you have to have out there. I thought their game plan against Cam was good. They spoiled the fastball quite a bit. With Luis, there's a little bit more probably mix and match with what he does with his off speed. His sequencing gets a little bit more unpredictable at times. So if he controls the strike zone early, I think he's got a chance to do well.
He's had a little bit of trouble with control so far. Last time out, just 2 walks. But overall, what have you seen from him since coming off the IL?
Yeah, I think for the most part with him, he's got to get the fastball in the zone. I think a lot of times he'll get to his secondary pretty early, and he's looking for chase with it. And I think he's really got to show that he'll be in the zone early, and usually it's with the fastball to get them to swing at the off speed.
Do you think his sliders have had the same depth since he's been back?
Hit and miss. I think it comes and goes for him. I think it's a little bit delivery related. I think he's got to, sometimes he overthrows it and ends up a little more verty, if you will, like kind of stays up in the zone. So, working with him to kind of carve the slider down away a little bit better, get it below the zone. I think that's important for him.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, so tonight, with Cam Schlittler on the mound, we're going to be looking for him to have made some type of adjustment. This is where Matt Blake shines. So Cam came up. It was kind of a emergency situation, and he got thrown in. And there is an art to not overwhelming a young pitcher, not overwhelming a new pitcher, and giving them information when they're ready to receive it. And I feel like when Cam first came up, we saw him make an adjustment on the fastball right away. He changed his grip a little bit, allowed him to get some more velo on that fastball, where everybody was saying, why is he throwing this hard? Like, he wasn't throwing this hard in the minors. And yet he was still able to achieve this accuracy with the location on the fastball. That was a stamp of Matt Blake and the pitching staff, okay? So they made that adjustment, and it's been working great so far. Now we're going to be looking for him to make another adjustment with possibly a put-away pitch or being super aggressive early in counts to get the leverage that Cam needs to stay in control of the game. This is a really important night and start for Cam. So we're all going to be looking for that. I think in the offseason, Matt's going to work some more magic, maybe work more with the changeup, adding that more into Cam's arsenal. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen over the offseason. But what he can do right now is to help Cam with outsmarting batters. And I do still believe in Matt Blake, so I'm looking for a good start tonight. Even if Cam doesn't win, I just want to see an adjustment. I want to see progress.
Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to see how he overcomes adversity because obviously he's a young pitcher. He got shelled around last outing. We know that. How is he going to respond today? I'm not asking you to go out there and throw a perfect game or a no-hitter, but I want to see another step in the right direction because then that'll show me that game could have been a blip. Also, the pitching sequences need to, him and whoever's catching today need to be on the same page, need to be able to switch things up because you can't just rely on a 99, 100 mile per hour fastball. You got to go with your secondary stuff as well. And this is a huge start for him. And it's a lot of pressure on him as well because we've gotten shellacked these last two games. Like BTA, man, Belt has been the R behinds this series. So you're going out there with a lot of pressure, especially considering how bad our bullpen has been. So a lot of the pressure is going to be on a guy like him as well. I'm interested to see if he does struggle early. Maybe we see Ryan Yarbrough come in to try to balance things out again. But it's a big start for Cam.
Yeah. It's a big start for Cam. It's a big start for the New York Yankees, right? Because you're trying to avoid being swept at home, right? More importantly, you're trying to avoid being swept on your way into Fenway. On your way into Fenway, a team who you struggled against this entire season. So when you talk about momentum, when you talk about the way that a baseball energy could just swing in a week, that's exactly what has happened to the New York Yankees. Because just about a week ago, we felt that the New York Yankees would be able to take at least 2 out of 3 from Detroit going into Boston with a fighting chance. And then a week later, it's totally opposite. It's a 180. And as they say, that's baseball, Susan. And when you look at Cam Slittler, it's going to come down to his command. It's going to come down to his composure. And it's going to come down to what is the Yankees defense behind Cam Slittler. You cannot have Aaron Judge in right field. You can't have Aaron Judge in right field, somebody who is compromised, somebody who cannot throw the ball into the infield. You definitely cannot have Anthony Volpe at shortstop. You have to have Caballero. And I think with the Anthony Volpe getting the PRP or the cortisone shots, whatever it was, I think it was the cortisone shots, I think he will be out of the game. I think Caballero is going to get back-to-back games that he's starting in the lineup because of his defense. And you saw the play that he made yesterday, and credit the Yankees production staff, anytime Caballero gets a hit, anytime Caballero makes an amazing play, they pan the camera to either Boone or Volpe, and that's being petty on top of petty.
Yeah, they know what we want to see. I definitely think that if Aaron Judge is in the outfield, he might be in left at Fenway because left field is smaller in Fenway than right field. Left field has the monster, he can play it off the wall, right? I kind of like how they dealt with Soto last year. They put Soto in left field at Fenway.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that go on, but I think you've got to play Giancarlo Stanton in this series either like any way you can. You've got to play Giancarlo Stanton. He rakes in Fenway. We need him to get right too. He's in a little mini slump, if you want to call it that. So I would love to get him going this weekend versus the Red Sox. I care way more about the Red Sox series than I care about the Tigers series.
Same.
So I do think I do want to believe we're gonna win tonight. I can't believe we're gonna get swept. That would be wild work. But the bullpen, what is going on? Mark Leiter Jr., why?
I put that more on bad decision making. Like we can sit here and say like there are multiple ways to misuse a bullpen. And it seems like Boone does it all. Whether you're overusing guys, not using guys enough, the situations, the lanes. You realize Devin Williams hasn't pitched since last Saturday?
Oh
It's
my
almost
God.
it's almost been a week. Why was that not a situation for him to come in yesterday when you're trying to keep the score close? It's 2-0, and Mark Leiter Jr. is the first person to come out the bullpen. Like, that's still a high leverage situation. You're down by 2. And then once that run scores, now granted, we did have a little bad break with the ball going in Wells' protector and the runs moving forward. Yeah, it happens. That's baseball. But at what point in time, if you're Aaron Boone, you have to sit there and say, this is falling apart. I have to do something. Weaver was warming up. Weaver's been struggling as of late either. But I did feel like that was a good lane to try to get him going. Instead of you bringing him in a 7-run deficit, your mentality is totally different when you're in a close game than when you're in a blowout. So why didn't you use him there? Because you did have him warming up. Then all of a sudden, the next inning, here comes Mark Leiter Jr. And it's like, I don't know, Boone. It's the guys are gassed, no doubt. Some guys aren't panning out, but a lot of the bullpen blunders I put on Aaron Boone.
Yeah, it's decision making. And again, that's a tough spot right there because damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because if he was to bring in Devin Williams, and Devin Williams has the same performance that Mark Leiter Jr. has, everybody, myself included, maybe you guys as well, folks on Twitter are going to point to the fact that, well, Devin Williams doesn't do well when he has 6 days off. Devin Williams doesn't do well when he rests a lot. Aaron Boone knows this. The analytics know this. Why are they bringing him in a high leverage situation when he hasn't pitched in 4 or 5 days? So it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. Right. So it's very much not saying you in general. I'm just saying like if Aaron Boone was to make that decision.
Yeah, it's in hindsight. It's a results game. It's a results
game. And I feel when we was talking about Matt Blake and all the guys that we have, Matt Blake has been able to take these reclamation projects and get the best out of them. We saw it with Ian Hamilton. But as soon as Ian Hamilton got injured, he was never the same. Mark Leiter, same thing. Mark Leiter Jr., he showed you some flashes that he could be good, then he was a bud. Showed you some flashes he could be good, then he was a dud. Got injured, hasn't been able to find it. Luke Weaver bursted on the scene yesterday. Luke Skywalker took Yankee fandom by storm, the Yankee universe. Got injured this year, and he has yet to reclaim his dominance that he had prior to his injury. You saw flashes of it. You have a two-week spell from Luke Weaver where you get flashes of last year, but then he has what he has over the past week.
Yeah, and why did he get injured, Hector? Why? Because he was pitching every fucking day for like a long time. He was carrying the entire team and bullpen, and Aaron Boone kept running him out there to stack wins early in the year. Now, look, the strategy had worked somewhat because we're still in the hunt now after one of the worst slumps of all time of any Yankees team in July. But that being said, it injured Weaver, and he hasn't been the same. Cruz, Weaver, Leiter Jr., Williams, even Tim Hill was giving up the long ball. Like, who do you trust in our bullpen besides Bednar right now? They are in a bad way. So, Matt Blake, if you're listening, we need you.
You're our only hope.
You're our only hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, Matt Blake, you're our only hope.
It's difficult because, like, look what Eli is saying, right? Eli is saying the Yankees don't have the talent in the bullpen, right? And we've said it. Like, they're taking these projects. They even got a guy like Jake Bird, who was a project. Jake Bird's not on the Major League roster. But Yankees think that they can fix guys, no doubt. To an extent, it works out. But in order to bring in top-tier talent, you got to give up top-tier talent. Like, you want to bring in a Mason Miller, what would that have cost you? So for the Yankee fans that are like, oh, we got to bring in better arms, what are you willing to give up? You don't get nothing for free. And it's as simple as that. So, yeah, you got to work with what you work with. Now, you do have moves like Devin Williams where, you know, we got him on the cheap. Mason Miller would have cost you. You get it like last year. You wanted to bring in some people want to bring in a guy like Tanner Scott. He's getting shelled this year. So even if you bring in top guys, it's not guaranteed they're going to work. You have to work with the pieces you got. And that's what a manager's supposed to do. You have the pieces in front of you. You have to manage them properly to success. And that's what it's about, putting these guys in a position to succeed.
Yeah, and when you look at the Yankees minor league system, right? We've seen Aaron Judge be like the only real superstar, the only real like all-star the Yankees have produced in the past like 20 years, right? Outside of Cano, whatever. But regardless, when you look at the Yankees bullpen, when you look at how the Yankees have or where the Yankees rank, with top 100 prospects, if the Yankees make one move when it comes to like trading, all right, we're going to build up all of our prospects. We're going to put all of our eggs in a basket, ship it all out to Oakland. Ship it all out to Sacramento, to the Athletics in order to get Mason Miller. If Mason Miller doesn't pan out, you just traded away all your top prospects. Now your organization is set back 5, 6, 7 years because you have no one in the farm system. Now it's hard for you as a GM to go out there and make the moves to get Jose Caballero and make the moves to get David Bednar, right? So this is where the Yankees are at right now. Again, not defending Brian Cashman because he should be able to go out there and make the moves or have a farm system and develop them properly. But when you look at where they're at when it comes to their prospects, if they trade away all their top prospects for Sandy Alcantara this offseason, if it doesn't work out, now your farm system is set back by 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like if you only have $5 to spend at McDonald's, are you going to buy one burger for $5? Are you going to buy $1 French fry, $1 chicken nuggets, $1 soda, and $1 whatever? That adds up to $5. Then you get a little bit less of each thing, but you get more. You get a variety, right? Instead of laying it all out for one player, you got a 25-cent here, 25-cent here, 25-cent here. All adds up to $1. Because I only had $1 to spend. Sometimes if you spend a whole dollar on a Mason Miller or whatever, it works out. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes that burger don't hit like you needed it to hit.
Yeah, you need to make sure you're getting the right player in return.
Right. But Doval is a perfect example. He was a great closer in San Francisco. When we acquired him, people were excited. People were like, oh my God, this is amazing. Now we're going to have Doval. We're going to have Doval has been one of the biggest letdowns of this trade deadline. He is absolutely rattled. I don't know what has happened to him. I'm not going to try to even diagnose it. I do think, though, that next year, look for Doval to come back super strong because with an offseason with Matt Blake, he is going to add some tools to his toolbox. And next season, he'll be like the Loizaga we always wanted. But for right now, it is what it is. And we can't make those huge adjustments in a short amount of time. So we just have to figure out lanes, to Ace's point. We need Aaron Boone to figure out how to use the 25 cents that he has because we can't change it at this point.
No.
The players are who the players are. Like I'm right there with you, Grace. I'm not ready to give up on Camilo Doval. Next year, I do think he'll have a better year, a full year, because the guy's got electric stuff, man. He really does, and I just want to see what a full year can do. I'm still high on a guy like Jake Bird because he's a project. What the Yankees have done, the Yankees have got a lot of bullpen guys that are under control. So they're trying to win today, but also plan for the future. David Bednar has been a steal. David Bednar was a dog. Like, they went out there and they absolutely knocked it out of the park with that. Like, Pirate fans were upset when he was gone, and that was a hit. You can't hit on all the moves. Caballero's been a hit, in my opinion. Bednar's been a hit. Ryan McMahon's defense has been good. So I give Brian Cashman a solid trade deadline. You can't hit on all the pieces. It's impossible. No one's 100%.
Especially, like Hector said, without giving up your number one prospects. Yeah. Which Cashman didn't. He didn't move George Lombard. He didn't move Spencer Jones. He didn't move LaGrange. Who else are the top prospects that I'm missing? Elmer. What's the other pitcher's name?
We still have a lot of those guys.
Yeah. Exactly. So he did his thing, but at the end of the day, the players got to play.
Mm-hmm. I want to bring up one comment, right? Shout out to Tim English in the chat who says, I'll take Miller over Lombard Jr. any day. Miller helps the team now, and Lombard Jr.'s stats don't even match up to what Volpe was in the minors. This is what I'm going to say when it comes to George Lombard Jr. and his batting. Yeah, offensively, he doesn't come close to what Anthony Volpe gave you at the minor level when it came to his stats. Defensively, though, If George Lombard Jr. was giving me what Anthony Volpe is giving me offensively, hell, if George Lombard Jr. was up here playing Gold Glove defense, batting 200 worse than Anthony Volpe, I can live with that because you're getting Gold Glove defense. Right now, the scouts would tell you George Lombard Jr. is the best defender in the entire Yankees system. That's including the major league level.
Yeah. Well, and Tim is talking like it was a 1v1 trade. It would have cost more than George Lombard Jr., my guy, to
Way
get
more.
Mason Miller. Yeah.
It would have been it definitely would have been Cam. It definitely would have been Ben Hess. It definitely would have been some of those other top pitchers that the Yankees have, LaRange, Lalane. So yeah, it would have been some of the Yankees' top prospects.
Honestly, too, I think if you would have brought in the top line pitcher, it probably would have took Rice because like Rice was one of our most valuable pieces. You tell him, and we held on to him, and he's one of our best players. So I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, bring in this guy, bring in that guy, but what are you giving up? What are you going to give up?
Ben Rice is who the front office needs to be looking at instead of Anthony Volpe. Ben Rice came up through the system, loved the Yankees as a kid, got that marketable little face, and he hits bombs, and he rakes, and he plays first base and catcher. And next year, he's going to be on the starting roster every day, not because somebody got injured or because XYZ. He could be the answer that the front office has been looking for to the next homegrown star that's a Yankee family, Yankee guy. That could be Ben Rice. Let's look at him.
Yeah, he could be an example, especially considering he wasn't highly touted. Like, you need to find more guys like that, no doubt, because we missed on some of our top prospects. Maybe we need to start looking at some of these middle of the road type prospects that for us and give them a shot, because all guys need is sometimes the opportunity.
And let me say, every team has top prospects that don't pan out. It happens more often than you think. More often than not, top prospects don't pan out. So I just wanted to say that. It's not just a Yankee thing.
Yeah, it's not just a Yankee thing. There's poor defense all throughout baseball. Like this is not just the New York Yankees. It's not just Anthony Volpe. Shout out to Theo AA in the building, who is probably one of the biggest Anthony Volpe supporters that I know in my life, who says, we want to play at big boy table. Cashman has had his many seasons of having among the highest payrolls in Major League Baseball. Where is the results? Yeah, win now. The same guys that wanted Reynolds who did trash. Yeah, Brian Reynolds. I remember when a lot of Yankee fans, a lot of Yankee content creators wanted the Yankees to trade Jason Dominguez for Brian Reynolds, and Brian Reynolds is one of those guys. I think he has like every major city on his no trade list, if I'm not mistaken. I think he has like every. I'm gonna look it up right now. As oh wait, go ahead.
When we were playing the White Sox, I was remembering about Andrew Benintendi. Back when people were mad that we didn't extend him. And now look at him. And I'm like, oh, God.
I was one of those only because, like, it was a switch up. Yeah, it was a switch up from what we had. Like, all we had were home run hitters. Benintendi's a guy that, you know, came here for a short cup of coffee. And, like, he's a guy that I want to see what he could do in a full year of right field. Like him being a slap hit, him being a contact hitter, what would that produce in a whole year? Same thing with McMahon. McMahon's played solid for us defensively, but offensively, I'm curious to see what his numbers are next year.
But you look at him now and you're like, oh, thank God we didn't.
Yeah.
We'd have been stuck with him. We'd all been bitching about him if he was still on the team. Plus, the reason why I thought of him is he didn't want to be in New York. He didn't want that smoke. He wanted a quiet life and, like, you know, good for him. There's more to life than, you know, it's not for everybody, whatever. And so that's what made me think of Andrew Benintendi, because
that was a Red Sox in him too. He didn't want to be here.
So. Yeah.
Well, bye.
He's making at 30 years old, he's making $17 million this year, $17 the next year, and $15 the prior season. I was one of those Yankee fans that I wanted Andrew Benintendi. I enjoyed Andrew Benintendi. I was so hyped for him here, especially when he was traded over, leading the lead in batting average, and then that plummeted. He hit 320 with the Kansas City Royals in the first half of the season, and then with the New York Yankees, he hit 254. And since signing with the White Sox in 2023, he had 262. He played in 151 games. 2024, 229, 135 games. And 2025 this season, 248 and 110 games played so far this season. So that's why I'm not the GM of the New York Yankees, because I would have signed Andrew Benintendi, and we would have been bitching and complaining about me. I need to be fired.
Yeah, but you were going to bring up the Brian Reynolds stuff.
Oh, yeah. When you look at
I was
Brian
just stalling for you.
No, all good. No, I appreciate that. When you look at Brian Reynolds, yeah, the teams that he had is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, the Giants, and the Padres. So basically, like almost every big time market minus like Chicago, he ain't want to go to.
That shows me he don't care about winning. He just wants to just play baseball, which is nothing wrong with that. It's a personal prerogative. If that's what he wants, cool. But we want to bring in players that want to be here. I want guys like the Jazz Chisholms of the world that want to be a New York Yankee and want to win here, that type of stuff. But players like all around the league, they players leave here. Sometimes they don't pan out either. Robinson Cano's career wasn't the same once he left here. We all know that.
That's great.
You had to bring up
it works
my
both ways.
man.
I'm just saying it works both ways. So yeah.
Oh, bro, I was beyond devastated when he left.
I was too, because I was like, not just for Felix Hernandez, that was his boy, that was his homie that he wanted to play with.
That's
but
fair.
I was when Robbie
Shout
left
out to
though.
King
I know
Felix.
when this is getting off topic, but when Robbie left though, I was like, bro, it's right there for you because Jeter's about to retire, bro. This could be your team, and you're just like, I'm out. Good riddance.
Yeah, I was devastated. And I was super young and I didn't understand, like I was just like, why would he do this? Like I was young. I that was a time.
Well, and that's why when the trades that get away after the Yankees won the World Series in 2009, there was a trade on the table. No, not 2000. It was at the end of 2013, 2024. I mean, 2013, 2014. There was a trade on the table that would have sent Felix Hernandez to the New York Yankees. Do you know what the prospects that Brian Cashman didn't want to trade?
Who?
Jesus Montero, who we wind up trading to Seattle for Michael Pineda, Ivan Nova, and Dylan Betances.
Oh.
Those are the three prospects that Brian Cashman did not want to trade in order to get King Felix Hernandez from the Seattle Mariners.
Dang.
That happens a lot. There was also in more recent history, there was also a trade for Luis Castillo. The Yankees didn't want to give up a certain prospect named Anthony Volpe. So,
Damn it, Ace.
No, actually, the trade, because this is an article from Bleacher Report. The trade was actually after the Yankees won the World Series. It was proposed in 2011, going into the 2011 season. So that season, Felix Hernandez had one of the best seasons of his career. So imagine in 2011 having a 1-2 punch of CC Sabathia and Felix Hernandez at his top peak of his career.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes, as baseball. Oh.
Now I'm curious to see what was the 2011 New York Yankees starting rotation. Now I'm curious to see. Oh, yeah. After CC Sabathia, you had Freddie Garcia, Ivan Nova, AJ Burnett, Bartolo Colon, Hector Noesi, and Sergio Mitre. Those were our pitchers in 2011.
I like Nova. I like Nova though.
Yeah, I like Nova too.
Oh, I like Nova too. I would have loved Felix Hernandez and CC Sabathia and AJ Burnett though. I'm not gonna lie, as starting as a top 3 rotation.
Yeah,
those were the dark times. I don't want to say dark times, but those were a little bit of a struggle time, end of Jeter's, like Jeter was going down, A-Rod was going down, CeCe still had it though. But yeah, it was, man.
Yeah,
Dang.
congratulations to the boy CeCe on the Hall of Fame too. I saw that flag flying the other day. Probably looked good in person. Weren't you there? Heck, you were there?
What was it?
When CeCe Sabathia?
Oh, yeah, I was there.
The flag looked pretty.
Yeah. I was able to get a question to CeCe. I have his plaque right here. Shout out to CeCe Sabathia. Plaque from WFAN. Good one.
My all-time favorite Yankee, by the way.
Is he? CeCe?
That's my all-time
I gotta go
favorite.
with Jeter. I gotta go with Jeter. He's my all-time.
Even though CeCe wouldn't be on my Mount Rushmore, but he's my favorite. You know what I'm saying?
My favorite is Bernie. Everybody's favorite is gonna be Derek Jeter. That's an automatic given. Outside of Derek Jeter, it has to be Bernie. And Posada is a close second. That's how I rank. Folks, we're going to get ready to wrap things up because I'm going to the Roberto Clemente documentary premiere later on today. Shout out to the Real Bill podcast who says, congratulations, Hector. My favorite Latino baseball player was Roberto Clemente, and I will be at the Roberto Clemente documentary premiere today for the Latino Film Festival. Thank you so much for inviting Latino Sports. So yeah, I gotta go get ready for that. So I appreciate everybody. Grace, love you so much. Ace, appreciate you so much, my guy. Let's shout out the chat. My guy Ness was in the building. TC Stills, big time Jerry Cadill, Eddie Snaps. Grace, last words for the people before we get out of here.
Woo, last words for the people are win tonight. That's all I gotta say. We gotta win tonight. Establish some good vibes and momentum going to Fenway this weekend. This weekend is a huge series, maybe the biggest series of the entire season, minus postseason, is this weekend. Because if the Yankees get handled this weekend, you can kiss the division goodbye. Now, you're supposed to say kiss it goodbye like Sandlot. So I say, if we get handled this weekend, we can kiss the division goodbye. Say kiss it goodbye. Have you never seen the Sandlot?
Kiss it goodbye.
Oh no, that's my movie.
Oh, okay.
No. I was giving you your moment.
Okay, no. Anyway, we'll work on our cues next time. But yeah, because if the Red Sox, the math is mathing. Okay, this series is huge, way bigger than the Tigers series. Okay. So, plus it's our rival, which we really, really care about beating. Like, beating the Blue Jays is nice and whatever, like, okay, but I don't really care about them that much. I care about beating the Red Sox, okay? So, let's handle our business this weekend. Let's take 2 out of 3 and head into the super softer part of our schedule and then coast into the postseason, baby. And listen, I want to say on record one more time, I don't mind going in as a wild card. I have no problem going in as a wild card, but let's play better baseball. That's all I want.
Copy. Ace, what about you, bro?
Yeah, this is a big game in maintaining momentum, because coming off of the Astros and Blue Jays victory, this could be a little speed bump if we're able to go out there and handle our business tonight and take the big series. Then you can look at the Tiger series like maybe it was a trap series. Maybe the Yankees were looking forward to the Red Sox. But that's going to be a huge series as well. No doubt that this team is making the playoffs. I wanted 8-12 in this 12 game stretch, 8 out of 12, I should say, in this 12 game stretch. But if you tell me at the end of come Monday or come Tuesday show we're on that we took 3 out of 4 against playoff contenders, I'll take that. That's a good winning percentage. At the very minimum, if we go 2-2, I'll be a little bit disappointed. But, this is a big series versus the Red Sox in Fenway. It's going to be a hostile crowd. And even though the Red Sox are struggling as well, and they're also dealing with injuries, they get up for the New York Yankees no matter who they're playing. And this is a series that the Yankees are going to have to do what they have to do and get up. Start hitting with runners in scoring position. Stop striking out so much, because we didn't talk about it, but the offense has been struggling a little bit as well, even though we have been getting W's. 3 straight games with double-digit strikeouts. They need to start putting the ball in play. Stop just relying on the home run, manufacture runs. Let's get right at the right time. 3 out of 4 versus these playoff teams. Finish the season strong, surge into the playoffs, chase for 28.
Same. Just whatever you do, do not get swept tonight. Do not lose tonight. Don't get swept by Detroit, and do not get embarrassed in Fenway. Please, please. That's a lot. The last thing the Yankees need is to lose today, get swept by Detroit, and then get swept in Fenway. Because
That would kill all the vibes.
that will kill all the vibes. That will bring out the fire Brian Cashman memes, the fire Aaron Boone memes. Because in a week, Yankee fans, they switch it up. They switch it up like we switch our undie onedies. But guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to my guy Ace. Everybody who is in the chat. Appreciate all the love, all the super chats. Tim English, appreciate you. Marcos, appreciate you. Real Bill, appreciate you as well. Double A, thank you so much. My lovely girlfriend Alex Campos, Nathaniel Crenshaw, appreciate you. And until next time, Yankee fans, drink your water, stay hydrated. This is the Yankees
Morning Brew.
And I'm Hector.
I'm Grace Monroe.
Your boy, the Ace.
Ace will be live tonight calling the Yankees versus the Detroit Tigers. You may see a crash out from Ace, or you may see a celebration if they don't get swept.
Now I'm reserving the crash out to the Boston series. So,
All right,
the Boston series.
The Boston series. The crash out is on ice until the end of the Boston series. But guys, until next time, deuces. Arriba the Dirty.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.